glad to know you're still there and watching us. This is the run-up. And when we sit here, we talk about issues that we're concerned about in Nigeria and sometimes beyond. Maybe sometimes we'll have to go into your mind and you give us an idea of how India looks like, what they do, the kind of culture that is the same as ours and all that. And because you're the most traveled among the three of us. Not because of age, but... Uche, where have you been?
I've been to Ghana. I've been to like 7 states in the U.S.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
U.S. is just U.S. That's one country. No matter how many states that you've been to.
You will be amazed at how different they can all be, actually.
Yeah, but they're still U.S. I went to America. That's all.
Okay.
But I didn't say that like I did go to America. I have not been to America, okay, except in my dreams and in movies. But right now, we're talking about issues back home in Nigeria. And when we were opening, we talked about ASUU, that may be spoiling for another fight because of what the federal government is doing. I don't know. I think maybe we should have to get a lawyer one of these days to come talk to us how, what it means to breach an agreement of some sort, because I don't understand why, okay, maybe in the agreement the federal government had with ASUU, they said if you don't work, we won't pay, for instance, if that's what they said. And then the federal government must have had something that they agreed to do, and if they don't do it, why can't they be held responsible if that is the case that is happening? Because the document says that if I don't work, you won't pay me. And then there's something you need to do as well, and you don't do it.
Is there even a document like that? And how did we get to the point? I mean, there must be an end, excuse me, from the constitutional end. I mean, we all have the right to protest. We have the right to strike. It's our fundamental human rights. And I don't think there is a part of the Constitution where it says if you protest or if you go on strike, you would not receive your pay.
But be that as it may, even if there were a provision like that in the Constitution, there must also be a correspondent, how do I call it? Provision for the person who does not do what he's supposed to do, so that you don't get to go on strike or protest or anything that you're supposed to do. But like I said, I don't understand these things. Maybe someone else needs to interpret that.
I think both sides actually need to educate us because, you know, we had the reform of the industrial unions before handing over power in 1979 to civilians. The labor structure, if I'm correct, was modified. We had 42 industrial unions, which came under the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC. And of course, you have labor laws. We have labor laws, you know, which nonetheless, like all laws, fall under the Constitution. Yeah, the Constitution has supremacy. So now, why exactly is the federal government not paying lecturers? You know, we don't know. They should tell us, you know. What has been in the public domain has been the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, saying that the president will soon step in. You know, and again, I wonder, why bring the president in? I mean, the ministry has been negotiating, right? They have a team which has been negotiating. Agreement was reached. The strike was called off. So now, why say the president has to step in for the lecturers to get the other half of the pay, which was not paid? That I don't understand. So they need to explain precisely, unless they are saying, no, if this law is invoked or if this penalty is invoked, the only person that can revoke that is the president. Yeah. So, but we don't know. So this is why I'm saying they really have to explain.
Even that negotiation you were talking about, the ministry and the association or the union, I don't know, maybe it's a debatable word, because most times when I heard the minister talk, the minister of any of them, because there was a minister for education, there was that of labor and all that, when they were talking, I didn't hear the language of negotiation. when they were talking. Maybe it's only the things that I was hearing, but he was, or they were rather, in my opinion, talking at the people, like telling them what will happen, whether they like it or not. And it was not until Femi Gbajabiamila came in and had some compromises, made some promises, that the lecturers now felt there was some kind of negotiation, and then they backed down, went back to class, and then 1 month, or is it up to a month?
It wasn't up
It's not up to a month. You're paying them half salary. And
yeah, you see, during negotiations, and I'm not just talking about government labor, any negotiation, it's conflict resolution largely. The cardinal principle is you don't let either side appear to have lost face. Okay? If you want an amicable resolution, you don't allow any side publicly to lose face. Even if one side is conceding, you don't make it look like the side conceding has lost. Why? Because if you make it look that way, this side has followers as well. And it might be difficult for that side to sell that agreement to its followers, you know. So I feel that the stage, and Uche and I actually, the other day on the program, we were talking about the same ASUU thing, because I know it's of concern to us. Many parents are worried, you know, the young people back to school are worried. We can't afford, and that's why on the run-up we are emphasizing this again and again. We don't want a situation where we go back again into the strike. So the government should have, assuming the lecturers did something that the government was annoyed about, I don't think government should have resorted to not paying them. Just to close this chapter and for us all to move forward, they should have just done this in the interest of the whole country and the students. Because by now saying you will not get the other half of the pay, even if something was done, assuming that prompted that, then you're taking us back. You know, we are not creating the environment for this concession, for everybody to feel, okay, we went in, we got something, right? So I feel for that reason that we should not be insisting that they're going to get...
Let both sides have some kind of dignity. Like you said, let them not appear weak. Okay, now it will look like it was because they are hungry, that's why they're going back. But that shouldn't be the case.
That shouldn't be the case.
So, well, whatever it is, whoever is at fault, government, I think government should behave like the father or the mother, in this case, that they are, so that these people are hungry, yes. These people are the ones that will feed this nation with the kind of people that will take us to the future. The youths are going through that. And you are making them bitter. You're making them hungry. We were complaining the other time that in schools, when you go to school, you pay a little bit of school fees, and then most of the money you spend is on handouts, which are sometimes uncalled for, sometimes unnecessary. But these people have to look for other means to feed. And then you're making them so hungry and then sending them back into the school as well. There are a lot of things that will go wrong.
I think it's only in Nigeria, actually. I don't know how it works every other place, but I feel the education sector is very, very important. Like the way we talk about things in the education sector, the way we handle issues in the education sector, you would think, I can't even use any other sector as an example because it would be very demeaning to them. I mean, for a sector that is very this serious, this important, I don't know if I'm making any sense. Like go to the Western world. When lecturers gather and talk, the government is shaking. But in this place, I mean, how did we even get to this point? And then the sector is so degenerated. I mean, we talk lecturers, university lecturers, and hunger is part of the conversation.
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't be.
Well, if you go to a place like Ghana, I have friends there that run schools and all that, and their complaint always has been that the patronage they have in the private institutions is not that much, because it is a thing, quite a thing, to attend a public school in Ghana rather than private. But in Nigeria, it's the reverse. You go to a private school, okay, you have the promises of a better education than a public school, and it shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be.
The government should be deliberate about policies on education, because that is the cooking pot for the meal that makes a country strong.
It's very annoying.
It is, and you see, there are all sorts of stakeholders. I don't want to wade in too much, other than for me, I feel that this whole chapter should end. But if we're going to address challenges in education, it's got to be holistic. You know, I feel as well that you don't, in any industrial action, you don't take a position where you say, and that's it, you take it or leave it. You see, because I feel personally that ASUU has their intellectuals. Today, in this knowledge-driven age, there should be other ways of pushing, because I think ASUU also took an extreme position. I don't personally, and this is my personal view, I don't understand why you shut an academic session. But again, I think it's an extreme position. But again, and the authorities also, the government also took an extreme position. So for me, both of them took extreme positions, right? But now, like we said, that having been resolved, we need to move on. And we shouldn't do anything else to bring us back. But if we don't address the holistic issues of education, I bet you would almost invariably there will be another strike. Maybe not immediately. And there you need to look at private sector, states, everybody who is involved, you know, and to see exactly how we can prevent these kinds of things from happening again and again.
Well, 2009, 2019, that's 10 years. Yeah. Then this is 2022. The agreement that they had with the government is from 2009. So it has taken so long and so many administrations for them to resolve this issue. And sometimes, anyway, like you said, let's not point.
Universities need to generate more money. See, it's a long discussion.
Yeah, like my people used to say, if you want peace in a war, don't count the heads that have been lost, because there will never be peace in that war. Well, let's pray that our democracy will be strengthened by what we do, what we put into it. America's democracy is 246 years old, and we've just had only the third Black American emerging as governor. Wes Moore just emerged America's governor, being the third person in 246 years of one of the best democracies in the world. So, but we shouldn't wait for 246 years for equity, for equality, and for everything that we need in a democracy. We should use other people who have struggled with it and arrived at a particular point to be better. The discussion will continue tomorrow. My name is Nyamgul Agaji. Bye for now.
And my name is Uchechukwu Onodo.
And I'm Bayo Luwake.